Putin breaks silence on the deadly plane crash of Prigozhin. Let's play a clip.
As for the aviation tragedy, first of all, I want to express my sincerest condolences to the families of all the victims. It is always a tragedy. Indeed, if there were, and the primary data indicate that there were employees of the Wagner PMC, I would want to note that these people made a significant contribution to our common cause of fighting the neo-Nazi regime in Ukraine.
Oh.
We remember this, we know it, and we will not forget it.
For the first time, Russian President Vladimir Putin publicly acknowledging the death of the man who led a rebellion against him. We are awaiting a Pentagon briefing next hour to learn more about the plane crash that apparently killed Wagner mercenary chief Yevgeny Prigozhin. Russian media reports say he was on a plane from Moscow to St. Petersburg when it suddenly went down. No official word on what may have caused the crash. Let's bring in Morgan Ortagus, former State Department spokesperson and founder of Polaris National Security. Morgan, let's put up on the screen the map of Prigozhin's flight. He took off from Moscow. He was supposed to fly to St. Petersburg, but in the Tver region, suddenly the transponder disappeared off of the flight controller's console. U.S. officials believe it was a surface-to-air missile fired inside Russia that took it down. Putin sending condolences to Prigozhin's family, saying, I knew Prigozhin for a very long time, since the early 1990s. He was a man with a complex destiny, and he made serious mistakes in life. One of them was to challenge Putin a couple of months ago, and it appears that he may have paid for that with his life.
Yep.
Yeah, the only thing that I am sad about today, John, is that his death was not more slow and painful. That's the kind of death that the Wagner forces have inflicted on civilians in the Middle East and Syria, where they are responsible for helping Russia slaughter tens of thousands of civilians. Not military, not combatants, but civilians.
That's the war for both sides. They hate, they don't care.
Where they prop up some of the most
Ukraine's the same way. They're flying drones over Moscow, they're getting shot down and hitting buildings and stuff. And then Zelensky, when he responded to it like a couple weeks ago, he's just like, now the war's coming to them. He doesn't even care. It's like, they're civilians though, man.
Regimes and slaughter civilians, women, children, it doesn't matter, anyone in their path. So today, I mean, listen, with Putin killing Prigozhin, I think what's interesting, John, is that you don't have me on today, 18 months after the invasion, to talk about what life is like for Ukrainians in Kyiv now that it's under Russian occupation. We're not talking about that. 18 months later, we're talking about how Putin had to kill his best friend.
Wow. Yeah. That's a good point.
We should point out that Kyiv is not under Russian occupation.
No, definitely not.
But Wagner was definitely a big force in a lot of that fighting in the eastern section of the country. President Biden was asked about this yesterday while he was on vacation at Tom Steyer's $18 million home in Tahoe. Here's what he said.
Yeah, of course, back on vacation.
I don't know for a fact what happened, but I'm not surprised.
Do you believe?
It's Casey's actually answering
the question. Russia and Putin not behind.
So he says there's not much that happens in Russia that Putin's not behind.
It's funny, Biden. He's just like, oh, now that I actually went to Maui and they, they're not going to ask about that. I'll answer questions again. You're not a no comment like usual. He sucks.
Message was Putin sending with this, if indeed, as American officials suspect, he was behind it?
Well, I looked up an old quote from Putin. He once said something that's very timely and relevant today. He said that the only thing that is unforgivable is betrayal. And so he clearly has lived up to that moniker. But listen, Putin is somebody, this is not someone that operates in the community of civilized nations or should be treated as such, right? This is someone who has gone after reportedly former British spies in the United Kingdom, trying to poison them, trying to kill them. You know, he's on par with like Kim Jong-un, who poisoned his brother in an airport, right? This is a despicable, despotic regime that should be treated like North Korea, like Kim Jong-un. And he's lived up to that today. Putin and Prigozhin fighting is sort of like ISIS and Al-Qaeda fighting with each other. You just, you root for them both to win.
I'm Steve Duke.
Dang, that chick is vicious. But she's right, though. I mean, they're all evil. Ukraine's evil, too. All those guys over there are evil. You should talk about the Ukraine it's in a similar light. They want to go blow up civilians in Ukraine. They don't care who gets killed. As long as they're at war and they're like, okay, it doesn't have to be a military target or anything. To be fair to them, like, I know the president didn't do it, but they did let that one Russian guy live. The guy, he was like, a drone was about to drop a grenade on him, and he was like begging him for help. It was pretty messed up. But they actually let him live. But after his 2 friends died, got blown up. War is vicious. I just wish the war would just end. And now after the Wagner group is completely out of commission, I would imagine, now that Prigozhin's gone. So, like the woman was just saying in that report, the Wagner group helped tremendously do these operations in Ukraine. And now they are gone. And I don't even know how the morale of all these people, like I was just saying, that guy who they let live and brought him to the Ukrainian side, that guy was claiming that Russia started firing mortars at him. They didn't even want him to get out of there. And it's crazy because he was like, I shouldn't even have came to Ukraine in the first place. I should have just faced prison. But yeah, he didn't. He went to the draft like they wanted him to. And then all his friends died. The guys he made friends with, they died like right before he surrendered. And he was like, I would much rather just go back. I'm going to go back to Russia and just go to jail. But they'll just kill him, right? He's such a he brought all this attention to himself, and about him getting like basically rescued by the Ukrainians because they guided him with the drone of where to go. And then, like I was saying, the Russians started firing mortars at him, according to the guy who surrendered. So yeah, the whole war is just insane, and I don't even see it even ending anytime soon. They should really negotiate. I can't see Russia like winning or Ukraine winning. So it's like people have called this a forever war, and it makes sense why. Because when is it ever gonna end? That's a really good question, isn't it? Both sides are just hell bent on winning. But I don't see either side being able to get the traction. They're both low on munitions. The morale, I think, especially for Russia, must be really, really low. I don't know if there's a lot of reporting on that type of stuff. But, yeah, and especially as Ukraine starts sending drones over Moscow, I would imagine the general populace, after it's so long, 18 months, you would think the general populace would just be, just so fed up with it. But what's Putin going to do? Do you think Putin's actually going to like end the war just because of his population doesn't like it? Right? He's just going to keep going on it, saying it's like neo-Nazis and all that stuff, which there are neo-Nazis in Ukraine, to be fair. But you think every Ukrainian is a neo-Nazi? Right? He wants that land bridge. What is it, in the Donetsk region? That's what he wants. He wants that. He doesn't care about neo-Nazis or anything like that. That's just an excuse. Which, again, there are neo-Nazis fighting for the Ukrainian army. That's a fact. They have, like, Nazi tattoos and stuff. People don't like to talk about that because then it gives credence to Putin somehow. But it's like, not really. Like, all these civilians that have been killed or displaced and all these awful atrocities. I mean, the Wagner group is just former prisoners, right? It's a mercenary group filled with former prisoners. So who knows what they did, right? They must have done a lot of really bad stuff to the civilians of Ukraine because Russia wants a land bridge. It's like, how messed up is that? I get it, like, strategically against the United States and stuff, if they went to war with the United States, but now they just did all these atrocities. I can't see Putin really getting past this. If he even won the war in Ukraine, which, again, I don't even see how he can even do that at this point. How could he even win? So, but then if he did, the world's still going to hate him, and he's going to have to step down in some way, shape, or form, right? But how is he even going to beat Ukraine? If they were going to win, they would have won already. Now there's just so many landmines and everything. I don't get it. It is why even continue on. But Putin's going to look bad either way. If he loses, he's going to look awful. He kind of has to win, I think, because they might put him on trial. I don't know. Very interesting how this is actually going to end. Hopefully it's like some negotiations. Maybe Ukraine would attack Moscow and the population would just get so fed up with it that they'll just be like, no, we're done. We're gonna riot. I mean, look at how close that Wagner group, the coup almost it came so close to happening. I'm surprised Prigozhin just didn't go through with it, or just stay banished to Belarus. Why he's back in Russia? Putin must have like lied to him and said, oh no, it's fine. You know, I forgive you. We're friends. We've been friends since the 90s. And then bam, nope. I let you get comfortable. I took you out. That's most likely what happened. Like some people are like, oh no, we don't know for sure if Russia did it or not. Yeah, but he must have, right? It's insane.
If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for daily news updates, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and share your thoughts on the story in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.